For every Odyssey 2-ball putter, and this was the main putter in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, there is hundreds of other and thousands of other ideas and gimmicks that sadly have never had the success that this putter has had. Well, today I'm looking at another club which is so different to the norm. Whether it's a gimmick or whether it's the next big thing in golf, I'll let you decide. I'm Lester Bernie Barnes, this is my YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Today's review is of a Teton hybrid driver, which sounds absolutely ridiculous. To put a hybrid and a driver and marry them in together as a concept, I'm not sure personally whether it works. However, this company believes that this club could replace your driver, giving you both distance and accuracy. This club is not a new concept. You'll see several reviews in the past. Rick Shields has done a review, I think nearly 4 or 5 years ago. But this club now is at a more attractive price range, and you can pick this up for around about £70 on the internet. When it first came out, you were talking over $200 for this particular club, and always my argument has been, why would you spend £200 trying out a golf club when you can buy a named brand in the same sort of club for the same price? And if these companies are going to bring out such a radical new idea, it needs to be an attractive price point to get the masses to buy into it. You might be asking yourself why I'm in my workshop at Cheston Golf Club, and it's simple. The first thing I had to do was change the grip, so I popped one of my own grips on. These companies tend to put cheap rubber grips, very basic, very thin as well. And for me, if they're going to sell more clubs, they need to put a better, more premium grip onto their clubs. It just gives it that little elevation. Before we get any numbers and hit it down the practice area, I'm just going to give you some first impressions of this golf club. Head cover is really nice. It's really simple, a blue colour. Got the logo on the top as well here. You've got 15, which is in reference to the amount of loft on the golf club. It's pretty well made. It's nicely padded. It's going to protect that club nicely. If we remove that head cover, we have got the club. First impressions, it is oversized. It's massive. It's an ugly looking thing. It's a hybrid head, 15 degrees of loft as we previously stated, but the club head is at least a third bigger than your traditional hybrid, and there is lots and lots of face here, which gives me the early impression that it's going to be really easy to hit and really easy to get airborne. Next, the shaft is massive. It's 42 inches, so way longer than you'd expect in a hybrid. When you address the club, just putting it down with that long shaft, again, everything just feels massive and long, and it almost like the club is designed for a giant. When I address the club, I actually like the fact there's not too much offset. I was expecting to see more offset, I guess, mainly because of the loft. To try and help elevate the ball into the air, we'd have a little bit more offset, also making it slightly easier to hit. However, it's really minimal, the offset, which I like. You can also see a lot of face, which I said earlier would give you a bit of more confidence that you're actually going to strike this in the club and get some decent numbers and some decent results off it. Looking down at it, you've got a big logo right in the middle of the golf club, which, although it's quite big, again tying in with everything else with this golf club, it looks quite nice. The logo is simple. It's a good alignment aid as well. I also like the fact the logo sort of goes around the crown of the golf club with the colouring scheme, and it's got a nice sort of white border, which makes it look really classy. And it's just literally a grey head. On the bottom of the club, you've got quite a lot going on. Not overly that impressed with it, to be honest, the bottom wise. I know you don't use the bottom and it's only there for show. However, if it's going on a shelf, it just to me looks like almost like the old Ram style golf clubs. It looks a little bit cheap and a little bit, you know, average, as you say. I would like to see a better bottom. If it's going on the shelf and it's selling in pro shops, then that has got to have a visual appeal straight away, and for me that doesn't have it. I'm not sure whether the camera's going to pick this up, but I've just taken a closer look, and all the white sort of inlay or filling looks quite nice around the actual crown of the golf club. You can probably see here where the white has actually gone into the grey, and it's not the best finish I've ever seen. And for that to be sent out the factory like that, to me, is not ideal. Shaft wise, there's 4 or 5 different shaft options, from ladies right the way into sort of your strong men in your stiff shaft. You've got lots of writing on the shaft. again, it's not too bad. The only thing I would have, or only problem I have with that, is I'd prefer that to be on the very back of the golf club so that I can't actually see that address. The colour of the shaft is very similar to the head as well. You've got your grey bit at the bottom, which is what the main club head colour is. You've got a lighter blue, and then you've got sort of an off-white further up the shaft. Quite like that. It looks really good. It does look quite classy. With regards to the shaft and the fact there is quite a lot of shaft options, I will just give you my own personal view that the regular shaft in this is quite whippy and feels almost like a senior shaft. So the stiff shaft feels a little bit regular, and so I would just bear that in mind if you are ordering and buying this club. If you use a regular shaft normally, then maybe the stiff shaft will be more sort of appealing to you. You'll also be pleased to know that this club is fully legal and you can use it in competitions. Some of these clubs that are coming out, these new gimmicks, they're actually illegal and you can't put them in play in competitive rounds of golf. But this one, completely cleared, you're able to use it. So again, that will appeal to more people because you can actually play this and game this in comps. Right, I've given you my first impressions of this golf club. Now let's head out to the practice area at Churston and let's get some numbers from it. Let's see if it really does what it says on the tin and whether we can actually hit this as far as a driver. Before we talk through the numbers, I'm just going to give you my impressions on the feel and the flight, and surprisingly I actually like the feel of the golf club. I thought it was going to feel a little bit more tinny, but it's actually quite solid when you strike it. I like the actual sound of it. It is really easy to hit, although it's only got 15 degrees of loft on it and it's in your hybrid shape, and I was expecting quite a low penetrating flight. You can really see that I was getting the ball nicely launched up into the air. The spin rates were decent, the ball was staying in the air nicely, and it seemed to be carrying decent distances. Not as far as my driver as they would claim, but definitely looking at sort of 5-wood, 3-wood distance wise, which is absolutely perfect. And it was easy to hit off the fairway, it was easy to hit off the tee. It's quite a versatile club. I could even see myself probably chipping with it. I would definitely say for me personally it's easier to hit off the tee, mainly because one of the issues which we talked about earlier was when you put the club down at address, the toe of the club seems to be almost in the air, and that's to do with the fact that the shaft is so long. When I'm then hitting it off the ground, and I will just show you a little bit closer, I'm tending to make contact with the very heel of the golf club. The strike tends to move from the middle right towards the toe, and my main issue with hybrids is I get them turning left. I sort of overdraw them or even hook them. And off the deck, I did hit a few that went slightly left. So for me, having that tee, having the ball slightly off the ground, made me able to hit the centre of the golf club. So for me personally, I'd only hit it off the ground if I had a perfect lie. But mainly I would use this club for the tee. I won't talk about face plane tilt at this stage. We've talked about it before. But basically, if the heel of the golf club is on the ground and the toes in the air, the face will point to the left-hand side, almost in that direction. But that's for another video. So let's talk about numbers, and I've got the numbers here in front of me. I'll stick them up on the screen probably here somewhere. And they are decent, aren't they? I mean, we've got a maximum one which I hit, which is, don't forget this is carry, which was 243 yards, which is brilliant. That's similar to what I'd hit my 5-wood. The worst shot we hit at the 10 went to 219, 220 yards. So you've got sort of 23, 24 yards difference between the best and the worst, but we're averaging, you know, round about the mid 230s, which is brilliant. Further than my 2-iron, but probably just a fraction short of my 5-wood. So there would be a place I could stick it into the bag if I was needing that, but certainly would not go in there and place my driver, which generally I can hit between sort of 265 and 275. So that this club would not replace that. It would be looking probably to replace my 2-iron or maybe even my 5-wood. When I hit the club off the ground and off the fairway, we lost sort of 10 to 15 yards. Again, that's not too bad. I mean, I was pleased with the way it was going off the deck. It was obviously a little bit lower, so I was hitting it lower down on the face. With it being such a big face, hitting off the deck, you're almost hitting in the bottom couple of grooves, whereas when I was teeing up sort of hybrid height, I was getting the strikes higher up the face, getting a better flight and definitely more carry distance. For me, this club would appeal to someone who struggles to hit driver, who doesn't particularly like fairway woods, who likes hybrids but wants that little bit of extra distance. And with it being 15 degrees of loft, being a longer shaft as well, you should hit this further than your traditional hybrid. I do like the idea, I do like the concept, and I like companies that think outside the box, and combining the best of the driver with a hybrid is an interesting concept. I like the fact it's different to what I've seen before. Could I put this club in the bag and play it? Yeah, I could. It's okay. It's nothing for me personally. It's nothing special, and it doesn't just go to me, yeah, this needs to go into the bag. I will be returning this to Dan, and I won't be asking to have it off him long term. Do I think it's the next big thing in golf? Then sadly not. Do I think it's a gimmick? No, I don't. I think this could be a good club in the right hands, but it's quite a small market that they're aiming it at. And this club has been around, don't forget, for 5-6 years. And this is the first time I've ever seen one, and it's the first time I've hit one. So we know that it's not out in the mass market. We know that a lot of the tour pros aren't using this particular club, and that's for a number of reasons. But yes, it does have a place in golf, particularly for those people that can't hit driver and looking for a little bit more distance than they would get from their hybrids. In conclusion, it's a great club. To me, those that like a traditional looking golf club and even like the looks of the hybrids, which I personally don't, much prefer looking down at a longer iron and actually gaming and playing a longer iron. It's just a little bit ugly. It's oversized. Everything about it is big. It almost, to me, feels like it's been designed for someone who's 6'5". And if you put it in the average man, and I guess I'm an average man, his hands, it would look maybe a little bit ridiculous. I mean, it'd be a good talking point. I'm pretty sure if I stuck it in the bag and got it out, a few people would come over and ask what it was. Maybe that's what this company needs to do. They need to get it into more players' hands and get it out onto the mass market. I think they've done the right thing with the fact that now you can buy this club at a very reduced price. So I do expect to see more of these golf clubs in the hands of your average golfer. Finally, have you heard about this particular company? And better still, have you actually ever tried this particular golf club? If so, I'd love to hear it in the comments section. Let me know what you found positive about it, what you found negative about it, whether it's a success or whether it's a failure. Anyway, thanks for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe button, like this video and comment below.